One of the things that people have troubles with is, finding ways to achieve their goals, improve their life in some manner, or do something that they really want. And sometimes they just, the goal might seem insurmountable. I mean, if you want to change the world in whatever way you're looking to do, that's a pretty big task, right? If you want to, get us to Mars, that's a lot of work you have to do, right? If you want to feed the hungry, that's a lot of work. You got a lot of hungry people. And so the end goal that you want to achieve can seem insurmountable. And so, a million, a billion steps to get there, and it's kind of daunting, right? But a lot of the things that people often have trouble with is deciding the first path to take, because there are more than one ways to get to the same end result. And so a lot of times we are kind of caught in this indecision as to what to do. And that indecision, if we let it take control of us, that actually can hold us back from even making any progress towards our end goal. One of the ways that I use that I found is useful for me to take action when you've got a big goal or you don't know how to go about doing something in exactly the right way is I look at ultimately what the end result is that I want to have achieved. And I look at that and I say, okay, if I want to get on stage and be a speaker at a big event, what will I have had to have done, or who will I have had to become before I get there? That step before, I would have to have become a good speaker. I would have to have been willing to share my opinion. And then I work one step backwards and I say, okay, if I was willing to do that, what do I have to do? I have to face my fears. I have to practice. I have to be on camera a lot and get over the nervousness that I feel. And then I can work backwards until I get to the point where I am right now. Because once I do that, I can see the steps, at least one of the routes that I could go, see the steps that are required, and then I can start following that path on the road to that end result that I want to achieve. Now, there's no guarantee I'm going to get there. You're always going to run into issues in life, but that you can always reroute course, right? You can change, you can make a new path and say, well, I still want to reach that end goal, or maybe it's slightly modified. I want to do something slightly different. And you just change the path that you're moving on or moving towards, then that's fine. A lot of people let the short-term failures, I think, sabotage their success in anything that they wish to achieve. And we all run into that, whether you want to lose 10 pounds and you feel like a failure if you don't work out for a couple days, don't exercise, or that you sneak a bag of chips away at night and you eat that because it's like you've been craving that, you've been doing a good job. You feel like a failure. And so as a result of those small individual failures, we feel like we need to give up, like we're not worthwhile, like we can't accomplish something. And we shouldn't let failures do that to us, because you have to look at it from a long-term perspective, that you can achieve anything if you set your mind to it. One of the great things that, that I loved when I was a kid, there was a book series. This is really, this folds right into, kind of working backwards in time towards an end goal, what you want to achieve. You're going to hit roadblocks, but what's the best path forward? Is a book series called Choose Your Own Adventure. They were, I loved them as a kid. A couple of years ago, I bought a used set of these off eBay because I just loved them so much. I wanted to remember that from my childhood. But the Choose Your Own Adventure books, they'd be like mysteries or thrillers or something like that. And they put you in different scenarios. The book would start out and it would ask you a certain, number of questions, like, are you going to drive in the car? Or are you going to, walk down the street? And based on the decision you would make, it would direct you to a different page in the book. And at each page in the book, you would be asked to make another decision. And based on your decisions, the end route or the ending of the book would be very different. So it wasn't just one book you'd read with one story. It was really complex and I thought pretty cool, because multiple paths to actually multiple end results. But that kind of irritated me, because a lot of times when I would read those books, I would make the decisions that would end up in an ending that I wasn't happy with, I didn't like. So I learned to work the system. I cheated, although I don't consider it cheating. I just worked the system. I worked the system that was there that I knew how to use. So I went to the back of the book and I found the best ending, the ending that I liked the best. And I said, okay, if the best ending is on page 96, let me go earlier in the book and see the prior step where it said, if you do this, go to page 96. So then I found, okay, this will get me to page 96. All right, so this is on page 42 is where I found this. So what earlier page got me to page 42? Until I worked my way all the way back to the beginning of the book. That allowed me to have the path. I worked backwards from the end of the book to the beginning, and then I was like, okay, I know the path to take and all the decisions I need to make. So then I could read the story and let it play out. But I had to look at the ending that I wanted and work backwards. I think that's a really helpful way to look at things in life if you're trying to accomplish something big, whatever that is, big or small, is to work backwards from the end result.